everybody, this is the Sliders Review. I'm here today to talk about Black History Month. The month that is a celebration of my people, because I am a black man and everything. And it's about all our accomplishments, all the oppression that we have gone through over like centuries of living in like America and stuff like that. And even till this day, we are still being oppressed. And so I'm here today to talk to you about certain characters or TV shows or episodes that revolve around Black History Month that I personally enjoy. So I'm here today to talk to you about VR Trooper Season 1, Episode 5, Battle of the Books. So this is a JB like centered episode. I don't think I've never talked about VR Troopers on my channel before, which is quite a shame, and there was a reason for that. And that's because, well, it's not on Netflix no more, and I don't have Netflix, but I am recently watching them again because, like, you know, they are on DVD and they are like other places like Amazon and like YouTube and stuff like that. Because I really want to talk about VR Troopers because I grew up with that. It was like more mature than Power Rangers until they got to some of the civilian stuff where it got kind of silly in the newspaper editorial room, but in that talking doll Jeb. But other than that, it was always more mature and a bit darker than Power Rangers and stuff. And the intro sounded so much cooler. And it started to dominate over Power Rangers till, of course, they ran out of Japanese footage, Metal Hero footage. And so Saban went cheap and said, all right, let's just cancel it. But I do plan on talking about VR Troopers more later on this year. And so with it being Black History Month, I want to talk about JB Reese, who was played by Michael Hollander. And so, like, he was one of two black people on the show. And VR Trooper was an American adaptation of Metal Hero in Japan. Basically, Saban people, they like combined two completely Metal Hero shows. I had no idea growing up. I thought it was all just like one thing, which now makes me, and then that was in the first season. Then he like combined two more and in the like second season because the Ryan character had to have like a different suit. I never knew that. Like, I am so like, wow. And so like, it's interesting when it comes to Michael character JB, and when it comes to Julian Cobb's character, or Cobb's character, Professor Hart. They are the only two people who never crossed over the Power Rangers. The entire other main cast went over the Power Rangers in some way or another. Like Brad was the voice of the Gold Ranger, and Sarah had that love interest with Tommy and Zio. But yet, none of the two black dudes crossed over the Power Rangers for some bizarre reason. I don't understand why. And so, like, with Battles of the Books, this was a really interesting story. It starts off like it always does with Ryan, like, you know, thinking about his father, because his father is missing. And so, but the whole JB aspect about this has to do with him wanting to go to college, which is a very important thing for a lot of people to go to, because in order to get a job, you have to have some form of college degree. And so, like, and also skills. Even though a lot of stuff you learn in college, you'll never use in real life. Same way with all these maths and everything. Like, honestly, when will you ever use like algebra or trig or all this other crap, you know? And so, like, he badly wants to go to college, but of course his family doesn't have the money for it. Now, it's never stated what the financial situation is of his family. His dad owns his own business, a bookmobile, and his dad loves to, like, you know, drive around and educate all these young little kids. I remember bookmobiles when I was in elementary and stuff, and you always want to order a book from them and like, or buy it, I should say, oh yeah, order. And so like, and read it and stuff like that. But nowadays everything's online. So, plus kids don't really like to read now, because all they like to do is look at their cell phones, play video games, and act like zombies. And so like there is a karate tournament coming up. Now, this show was always big in karate tournament because there was like a dojo, and also the actor, I completely butchered his name in that Power Rangers episode. And so like rest in peace, Richard, the dude who plays Toll, I think that's his name is. He passed away sadly, and I believe the dude Gardner Baldwin, who plays Grimlord, I believe he passed away as well. And so like there's a karate tournament coming up, and it's $500 each per like team and stuff. So Ryan and JB, they want to do that. Caitlin, she does like the newspaper type stuff, because these people, they're not teenagers unlike Power Rangers, they're adults. And well, no, actually, if he wants to go to college, wouldn't he be in high school? No, he probably had to skip a year. He's probably, I think yeah, they're, I know Caitlin's an adult. JB and Ryan, they never see them in high school, so they have to be adults too. But JB just can't go to college because he can't afford it. And so like it's $500 each to win. Ryan wants to use his money to be a partner of the dojo, and JB wants to go to college. And so, but Ryan's all like, like, can't your father just like, pay the money for you to like go to college? And he's like, no, he doesn't want to burden his father. Plus, how much money do you really make at a bookmobile and stuff? I think they used to make I don't know how much money they make, but back then a lot of people used to read more because the internet really wasn't too much of a thing, which is funny because Caitlin was at the library, and she's all like, you use these like she called them interface terminals, which is just called computers, and talking about you can go like anywhere around the world and this and that. So I believe it was around the birth of like the internet and stuff like that. And so, Grimlord got a hold of this, and for whatever reason, so here's the thing about VR Troopers that never made no sense. One, the virtual reality world. Two, Grimlord's like plans for wanting to take over the world. Like, there's no talk about solar energy in this entire episode, but yet he wants to steal all the books in the bookmobile, not the library and not around the world, so that he can learn more about solar energy and use solar energy to help him do evil stuff. Makes absolutely no sense. And I mean, it makes absolutely no sense. So he wants to steal all the books in the bookmobile, so he sends the Scuds to attack JB's father. So they damage like his bookmobile and stuff. And so JB and Ryan, they don't know where JB's father is, because Caitlin calls and all like he's not at the library. So they head to go find him on their motorcycle, which I used to always love that. Just saying. I used to always love when they hop on their motorcycles and just drive and everything. And so like they find the Scuds, and so they fight in their civilian forms, which I always love those civilian fights. I don't care what Simon Bennett said, man. Civilian fights are awesome. And like this genre and stuff. And so like after they get rid of the Scuds, they realize something. The bookmobile is damaged, and JB's father doesn't have the money to fix it, and the library isn't gonna pay for it either. So he is screwed. So of course, JB wanting to be the honorable person, he wants to give his share of like the karate tournament money to that of his father. But first he has to rent it. So of course, he's focused as can be, and him and Ryan are competing in the tournament, and things are, about even on like both sides. Sometimes they take a hit, sometimes they get a point. Well, we've got a bit of a problem once again. Here comes Grimlord wanting to do his bad stuff. And so, like, he sends a monster somewhere to go do some damage. So, JB and Ryan, they get sent to their lab command center thing. I gotta rewatch this. I forget what the names are and stuff like that. And so Professor Hart, played by Julian Combs, yeah, Combs, that's it. And so like he has told JB, hey, we got a new weapon for you and everything. It's some type of VR bazooka or something like that. I forget the name of it. And so, as they're about to transform, Lord, I still can't believe they have a talking dog in this. So Scooby-Dooish. So, as they're about to transform, Ryan realizes, oh crap, he forgot his virtualizer. Speaking of those things were cool. A little like necklace pendant type thing with a jewel, and you transform to and like I've always wanted those, and they used to have those at Burger King or McDonald's. When I say VR Trooper exploded, boy, it exploded. So I got the little toy version from back in the day, but I also have like an actual one that looks like from the show because it's a person on eBay who makes them. There, you'll spend about over 25 bucks or so plus shipping, but it's worth it. Trust me. Only problem is there's no chain. You have to buy a chain to it, and that could be a bit of a problem because it's kind of hard to find a chain that will match up to the little hole in the little virtualizer thing. And so like JB is the one who has to transform. And I always love the whole Trooper transform thing. We are VR. Like, I used to love that growing up. It's funny. Like, well, there's only three like heroes to choose from, so I like them all. But Ryan was always like the leader and had like the cooler suits and stuff like that. But you know what? JB should have been the leader in my opinion. He was the one who literally like always had to do the heavy lifting and the fighting. Because like this is based off of two series. There's one where it's Caitlyn and JB character, and then there's another one where it's Ryan character in his own solo series. And I remember JB, boy, he used to throw down in those fighting scenes and stuff. And so Ryan gets like Caitlyn and tells her to like help out JB because the footage matches up. And so JB's having a hard time fighting this dude and everything, and he realized he has to take him away from like the real world and go into that of the VR world. And for whatever reason, the VR world is always like dark, depressing, and a mountain quarry type thing. And so JB is trying his best to like hold down. Caitlyn's helping him out. Ryan's in the little sky vehicle thing, blasting them and stuff like that. And so like JB can't do it with his pistol, so he's using his sword and everything. And the sword isn't enough, so he used the bazooka thing. And the bazooka thing is amazing looking. And after that, JB busts out my favorite weapon of all, his laser lance, which he always called laser lance command, but I never understood why they had the word command. Laser lance is basically one sword, and then he pulls out like a blade out the other side, and he lights it up like a lightsaber. So technically, Metal Hero / VR Troopers did the dual lightsaber staff thing way before that of Darth Maul in Star Wars. And boy, he will bust people up with that thing. He will hit you with this long beam, and then he just starts slashing and gashing. That's why JB I felt like always should have been like the leader or something, because he always had the better action scenes and stuff. Ah, boy, I used to love this show growing up. And so they head back to like the tournament. And so they win it. And of course, JB gives his father the $500 check, but Ryan does something even great. He gives the check to JB's father as well. So now his father has $1,000 to fix up his truck. But of course, the father doesn't want to accept it because you don't want to be the adult and the guardian having to take money from the kids. But he does it in a way because he knows he needs to have a job, because without this, he has no job and everything. And, then Ryan ends it with like a lesson that his father talking about reading books. Talking about, father, one day you read to me and then I will do the same. I don't understand the ending part when he said he'll do the same. Will he do the same to his own kids when he have them, or he'll do the same to his father when he finds his father? That's never really been expected. The writing in this was always kind of wonky at best. That's the problem with this show, is that it always felt kind of rushed at times. Um, but the action always made up. And even the civilian stuff always made up. It was cool seeing them in the civilian stuff. I would love if people would interview like these people more and find out behind the scenes stuff. Because I know the actress Sarah who plays Caitlin, boy, she does not like the two creators of this show. And she has a dark past with one of them. But yeah, I always liked JB. I always thought he was cool. To me, he was always the better VR trooper. Caitlyn, because she was the female in the Metal Hero series, they never really let her like do anything really cool and stuff. But this is a show that has been completely forgotten about. It's no longer on Netflix. You have to find it however way you can. It is on DVD, but I never saw them in the store. Like, you know, normally when you see Power Ranger stuff in like DVD sections, I never saw them at places like Walmart or Target, nothing like that. Always FYE. And I never hear nobody talk about buying the DVDs or this and that. And the toy lines have been disconnected. Hasbro does own the rights to Metal Hero, which they have incorporated Metal Hero into their Power Rangers stuff, like as like a guest appearance and stuff, but they never done anything with this actual property in a long scale kind of way, which is really disappointing because they have the rights to this and Mystic Knights and everything. Happy Black History Month, everybody. I'll talk to you later. Bye.